Jeremy Cameron at his new club.
It's not 15, I think he said. Not 15. You can hear the umpire saying.
Wow, he couldn't hear 18 Jeremy Cameron, and he's saying...
Welcome to Little Birdie Podcast, a unique look into the world of sports betting from the eyes of professionals. I'm your host, Scoot, and I've got MG. He's made it in the office. It's Monday. It's early this week because we've got the famous Bull Carnival on this week. MG's packing the bags. He's hosting the Wednesday function down at the Cali. How are you, MG?
Early start, no days off for the Little Birdie crew this week, Nico. You've got us working under the pump. But how can you not love this week? We're finally back at the Bull. Everyone's had a year off last year. I think they're a sellout already on the Thursday, so
hard to get down there.
I think the crowd Tuesday will be pretty big for what it's normally. So looking forward to it. The car's packed. There's plenty of beer in the boot, so we're ready to roll.
A few guys that I know have packed on the Saturday. People pack and go early. Some guys turn up on the Sunday. I tell you what, a little word of advice to the newbies down there on the Monday night. Jackie Higgins sent us a message last night on Twitter, and if you write yourself up on the Monday, I tell you what, it is the longest week, and it'll be teary Tuesday and Thursday. It's wait for age on the drink. Anyone that can get through on the drink for all 4 days, Monday included, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it sorts the men out from the boys, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of people going down today. Monday, I can't get down there for Monday. We've obviously got things to do here, but there's a lot of scratchings on the Thursday for newbies going down. They run their race hard Tuesday and Wednesday. They go in with the best intentions. Some of them are well coached when they get down there, and they try and take it easy on Tuesday, but you get down there, you back a winner early, the beer starts to flow, and all of a sudden you're at the Whalers at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
It's something to behold. So if you can't get there this year, make sure you get there next year. It is unbelievable, the Bull. We've got the Bulldozer 2021 Punters Club with Top Sport. You go to your benefit section there, where we're filming the show at about 1 o'clock or 1:45 on Monday, and the bank's around 35,000 at the moment. So make sure you check that out. We're going to close it at 10:30 tomorrow morning on Tuesday, day one. It'll be the cutoff there. But we're here to talk AFL and NRL, and you're not going to be driving a new car down to the Bull. Yeah, the Cat's going for an absolute fortune, MG, and God, haven't you ragged up? You're angry. You've had the angry pills. It's like we've swapped roles. I'm the calm, cool, collected guy this week for this week's show, and here you are, kicking the cat, kicking the dog, and you're very angry, aren't you?
Angry, disappointed. Had the chopper booked quarter time in the Cats game for the Bull. Upgraded accommodation and didn't work out according to plan. I'm not sure if it's a sick beat necessarily, but up 29 points early. If they'd kicked straight, probably had a game toasted at quarter time, to be fair. And then the way it finished was not kind. So there was a lot of damage done at my house watching that game, unfortunately. So, like, it was midnight last night, cleared all the decks.
And Cameron, the mark, I just needed them heads up, and the minus was going to be a bigger fill for me. But I just needed Geelong to fall over the line. I can't believe the umpires just can't leave the game alone, can they? Like, all of a sudden, it's been measured a 21.8 metre kick or whatever, and they've paid it not travelled 15 metres. There's just so much AFL influence in matches at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, I think, it was disappointing if you're involved, but that being aside, I just, you'd like to almost hear from the umpire in that situation, because the problem is not that it was necessarily late in the game as well. Also, obviously could have changed the result, wasn't given, but Jeremy Cameron would have been halfway between the goal and point post on his left foot, so chances are he kicks that goal. But just the vision of it, with having the point post and the goal post in the background, shows the ball covering clearly the 15 metres, makes it worse. Like, some around the middle of the ground, it's harder to measure, and the umpires either call play on or mark, and then some will go 10 metres and some will go 20, and one's called a mark, one's play on. But when you got the vision of the point post and the goal post, and it travels the entirety of the game on the line, I feel a bit sorry for the umpire. He's going to cop a lot of flack going forward. But I don't know, Geelong got lucky in round 3 with one where they stole one from Brisbane. I guess they take it back. So not a good look, and sick beat for some of those involved in the game.
So a 29-point lead they coughed up, and there's the little tweet on the screen from me. I put a line through the Richmond Tigers on the Twitter sphere at halftime when Bulldogs were 19 points in front, and I copped a barrage of Twitter messages back, and Tigers' pressure in the first half was abysmal. I didn't bet in the game until in play, until after half time, and I kept reloading the Bulldogs. So I've done my absolute Kyber on the Friday. I've copped up all my my racing wins there, but it was like someone had flicked a switch. You had Bulldogs on early, and then Hardwick's obviously gone in and barreled them, season on the line type stuff, and then Richmond's pressure in the third quarter turned the Bulldogs, the Western Bulldogs, into, well, I'd say like an under 15s or under 18 side in ultra panic. And they seem to lack all composure, and it's probably a good lesson for them for the future and for the finals. But the game plan went out the window. They didn't possess the ball, and they were like deer in the headlights as if there was 30 seconds left in the match. But they did it all quarter. It was disgusting. And the standard of game, there's a few people coming out and said, oh, what a great standard of match it was. The game was filthy. For the first half, it was filthy for the Tigers, and the second half was the Western Bulldogs. It was a shocking match.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, we, you obviously watch the shows afterwards and stuff like that. First show, first crack. I think it might have been Del Santo come on afterwards, and his first statement in that show was, "What a match." I'm not sure what match they were watching in the studio, but he'd be advised to watch the replay because it was a poor standard match. I thought the pressure wasn't there at all, and they changed jumpers at half time. I had a few Texas early on, a few early crows, so I think there was too many people mouthing the Bulldogs because there was a few asking questions of me early. How did I not tip the Bulldogs in the game? And they all thought the line of 10 was very light. So yeah, if I was involved in the game and smarter, I would have backed Richmond in the run, knowing the some of the calibre of punters that were texting me that were mouthing saying that the Bulldogs are home. So. It was it showed a bit of steel by Richmond. I mean, they don't have to prove anything what they've done the last 4 years, but
off the Melbourne touch-up, it was good.
I tell you what, at half time, they may have looked around the room, but you're right. Not a good look for the Bulldogs. They probably got showed up in the second half to have had Richmond not on the rack, but definitely under control. To get beaten the way they did was pretty poor. So it'd be interesting to see how they bounce back this week.
And another team that was in total control was the Brisbane Lions. They've been a cash cow for us for the last month, and then we've both jumped off them and backed Port Adelaide. And speaking of pressure, Port didn't give a yelp. I think there was a free kick, I think, in the first maybe 10 minutes of the match where they had a shot on goal and they've turned it over. I think Charlie Cameron had the ball and there was a bit of an indiscretion, and then it cost them the goal, and then Brisbane went down the other end and kicked the goal, and then the game just ran away from Port. They just didn't give a yelp after that indiscretion, that 2-goal turnaround. Yeah. It was puzzling, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've kind of seen it 2 weeks in a row now. West Coast went down to the Cattery the week before and didn't give a yelp either. It was like they just didn't want to be down there. And I think when you watch the Port game back, you're right. They turned the lights out real early, Port, for a team that's had a pretty good start to the year. Well, definitely had a good start to the year. They're top 4 potential. They're littered a bit in their history, Port Adelaide, aren't they? They love turning it up.
Downhill skis.
Yeah, I think they are. They're a bit flat track bullies, and I'm not sure. I mean, I would have thought last year what they did, they might have got that out of their system, but I'm not sure about sides like this when, West Coast a week before as well. You don't want to be on sides like this for the premiership when they can really turn games up like this and big games. You want to be more competitive. So, again, the signs aren't bad. They'll come back to Adelaide this week in the showdown and,
touch them up probably.
Yeah, probably. And then they'll say, oh, well, we've moved on. Bad game for us. And they've touched up another poor side. So, it'd be interesting next time Port play a potential another top side, see how they go, especially away from home.
They're not alone. The Cats are showing mixed form. D's were lackluster. Maybe it's fatigue. Maybe it's he's back to the long quarters. Sides managing themselves, but yeah, the pressure element of matches at the moment seems to be the key to all games. Sides, there's not much between the top sides, and we're just seeing it off and on throughout the game. So I think
it's reflected in the premiership betting at the moment.
Exactly.
You were talking to them before. You said not much has really changed.
No.
We kind of said that at the start of the year there'd be the top 6 or 7 sides. That were in the betting. I'm not sure too much has changed. I know Sydney are high up on the ladder, and obviously it was a big win for them to put the W on, but they're not in anyone's contention to actually win a premiership. So. We'll see what happens as the weeks go on. We'll
have a look at the bookie wrap now. There'll be a graphic up on the screen, but I'll talk you through it if you're listening to the podcast at home. So round 7, we've had 6 out of 9 favourites go, so that's 67%. The Lions 5 and 9. 56%. The totals have gone 5 and 9 at 56, and then for the season, there's been 44 out of 63 favourites. The line's gone 34 and 63 at 54%, and then the total 33 and 63. So it's pretty even Stevens there, and there wasn't too many big moves. There's a couple of points sort of here and there, and the totals, there just wasn't as big a shifts, and even the rainabout, there was Eagle Farm, which copped an absolute deluge in Brisbane, but even those conditions were not too bad. Now, the sting in the tail for this week, we've sort of already touched upon the umpires. We've touched upon Jeremy Cameron, the mark that wasn't paid, but there was another deliberate out of bounds mark in the Geelong and Sydney game.
In the last 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great finish to the game, full stop, and it would have been interesting to see if the siren was another 1 or 2 seconds away, whether the umpire in question, Matty Nichols, would have actually paid that decision as well, because he certainly wasn't given anything to Geelong late in the game. It was blatant out of bounds, deliberate, which would have put him around the 50 or 55 metres to kick back in. The Cameron mark was, we've clearly slated, was a shocker. And I'm not sure the whistle was up to the mouth for the Selwood holding the ball on Rowbottom when the siren rang either. So, it was the umpiring, again, has been ordinary this week. But what can we do? It's the norm. We just take it on board.
Do you think the umpires' names are being censored out of the papers at the moment?
Yes.
For games that are controversial only, or is it for all the games post game? You just don't, they don't like to report who's umpired certain games. It's across multiple publications.
Yeah,
it's amazing that the AFL are doing that. Like, the AFL are happy for coaches to be whacked, and Buckley's been thrown under the bus by every media outlet out there. But the AFL umpires seem to be getting censored out of match reports.
Yeah, it was clearly stated in the Herald Sun. They do their match reports for all the games on the Saturday. They listed the umpires in all 4 of the 5 matches, and surprisingly left them out in the Geelong Sydney game. So I'm not sure why they did that. But of all the media reports, and you can just go in and Google, and whether it's Fox Sports, Channel 9, the Age, Herald Sun, all just refer to it as either the whistleblower, the umpire in question. No umpires are ever named. So, I'm sure the AFL's very protective of the umpires. They know it's hard to get new umpires in. And maybe, that's part of the problem as well, that either, they're not paying enough, the accountability is not there, the training, the education. I mean, I'm not sure how much the AFL keep reviewing the process of the umpires. I'm sure they do, because it's a weekly occurrence that we have to comment on of how bad it is and support a feedback. But maybe that's what the AFL, the underlying tone that keeps the AFL a lot in the media, that they rely on, talkback radio, the press and the media actually talking about the umpires. Because when you think about it, there's probably 4 or 5 or 6 topics every week that are spoken about, and one of the constants is always the umpiring. Yep. And they know they roll out 9 games a week, and the umpires try and do their best, understand it's a difficult game, all the rest. It's not a new problem, but I think the AFL actually enjoy having the media talk about, and all the people that go onto Twitter and social medias, and either spray the umpires from either teams or whatever it is. So I'm not sure the AFL either give a stuff about it really, or just happy with it to go along and say, oh well, it's a tough game to umpire. They do their best, keep them out of the media. They don't let them be interviewed. There's no accountability. They just keep rolling on. So whether it's planned by the AFL, it's very good if it is, because it's certainly we talk about it on a weekly basis, because the frustration through fans.
It's hard to. It's hard. There's a lot of occasions I just don't know where the free kick's going to go, and
the ruckman never do.
The ruck issues are unbelievable.
They both turn around, they both go back, and then one of them shrugs their shoulders. So
it's frustrating stuff, and especially when it decides a game, or if you're on the other side, it's just ones to pull your hair out. Now, up next, we're going to have a look at that round 8 preview, and then we're going to have a look at the buy, hold, and sell for the futures. We've got Nick Tedeschi going to talk NRL. It's an early look. It's a Monday show. Mark and I haven't really discussed many of their matches, so maybe we'll start doing a Monday or Tuesday show going forward. So who knows? The Wednesday show could be dead and buried. Mark?
I'm not sure. The problem is with the Monday show, you don't get a lot of information out already. Prices are only new. I like to spend the Monday actually having some bets, Nick. So, picking off some soft numbers and stuff. But I saw your plan down the track where you'd like to have a show either daily or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. I'm not sure whether our days are off. Not sure it's going to suit young Darcy either. She might have to check in from the boat that she seems to be sailing around.
Sunday, she's dropping some amazing content. She's got a fair little team there up on the Whit Sundays, but we mightn't be able to get her back. I'm so off the bit here. Haven't even turned my alarms off for this week's show. Someone who is absolutely jogging is Nick Tedeschi, 49% pot for round 9, 4.2 unit profit, and he's now going at 10.5% for the season. Make sure you check out GGOA in the Little Birdie shop. He's going to talk NRL with us, and of course we're powered by puntingform.com.au, Australia's best online form database. That's the database we'll be using to do the form for the Bulldozer. All the boys are up and about, ready for the Bulls, so make sure you jump in the stream. Also, up next we'll talk round 8 AFL. Welcome to Little Birdie Podcast, a unique look into the world of sports betting through the eyes of professionals. I'm your host, Scoot. I've got MG here. He's licking his wounds. The Cats let him down. He got the market right, but he got the result wrong. The Swans were too strong. They come back from the dead, 29 points. But this week, we're back on deck, and we're having a look at round 8. And I tell you what, there's no time to snooze here because we've got Richmond Tigers versus Geelong Cats, the blockbuster on Friday night. Odds are on the screen, courtesy of topsport.com.au. And the Tigers, $1.57. Cats 2.37, and the line 8.5. Take us away, MG.
Yeah, another cracking Friday night. So we'll be trying to get through a couple of days at the Bull and then get back and get into it. So Friday night's a great game to kick off with Richmond Geelong. I think we've seen a slight move already this morning for Richmond. They did open up at 7. They've gone to 8 in this game, and I just think early. I think you'd only want to be backing Richmond right now at around this price. I don't think it's gravely wrong, but I could see maybe Richmond pushing to maybe 9 or 10 as the week goes on. Just a few factors. Obviously, Richmond at the MCG, we've seen how dominant they are at the MCG. The thing that worries me about Geelong, off a 6-day break and an interstate trip, not a great combination coming back to play against Richmond. Other stats that I like, Richmond, the MCG being, they're obviously very good over the last couple of years, but they've won 4 of their last 5 against the Cats at the MCG, and they've also won their last 3 against Geelong. So
Dusty back.
There's a few stats, yeah. They'll lose Cochin.
Is that much though these days?
I like Cochin in Richmond's side. I think it's not so much the stats that he puts on. I think it's more the role he plays. And you see when Cochin's out, Richmond's record's nowhere near as good. So, but getting Dusty back won't hurt on the back of what they did last week. He's only the best player in the game.
Shai Bolton seems to have gone to a new level. He's sort of everywhere. He bobs up in the forward line. He's working as hard as ever, isn't he? He's gone to the next level.
Yeah, he kind of played a bit what Dusty did while he was out, I guess. I think that's been well stated. He had a cracking game, kicks goals as well, so that always helps. Having Dusty back fresh, I'm sure he'll be ready to go. I think if you're going to bet early in this week, in this game, I'd be following Richmond early, and maybe if you're keen on Geelong, I think you might see closer to maybe +9, +10 come game time. Obviously, we're without injuries, and we haven't set the full injury reports through, but right now, I just think Richmond are on the cheap side.
Another, I'm not sure. I think I'll wait and see for that match. I think the market looks too right for me. I couldn't tell you either way there yet. Saturday night we've got Metricon Stadium, Saturday afternoon at 2:10 Metricon. We've got Gold Coast Suns and St Kilda. 185 the Suns, 195 the Saints.
Note that this game is during the day and not at night, so I think that takes away a bit of the advantage that Gold Coast hold. I like backing. I like being on, I guess, the sides more of Brisbane and Gold Coast up there when they're at night. I think during the day it kind of neutralises their advantage a bit.
Why would you say that? Is it the dew factor? The dew on the ball?
Yeah,
they handle the conditions better?
Yeah, I just think they're used to it when they're trained and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you really need to like the other side when you oppose them at night as opposed during the day. So, I'm surprised actually. St Kilda actually opened up last night at -2.5. Went to pick, and now some have actually shaded Gold Coast by 1 at the moment. So, which is good for me. I'm going to hold off in this game. I actually like St Kilda in this game, just at the price. I know they're a hard team to catch. Both teams are.
Well, they've both come off. They've beaten up 2 bad sides. Hawthorn's a bad side, and so is Collingwood.
Yeah, not taking too much form. I think the win for the Gold Coast out of the 2 were bigger to come down at the MCG. I know Collingwood are on the rack, but Gold Coast haven't performed well at the MCG, so it's a big win for them. And I like the style they went about it, beating Collingwood on the weekend. I know it's not great, but just their style's going well. They'll test St Kilda, no doubt. And obviously the early support is for the Gold Coast. So, again, if you like Gold Coast, maybe the way the market is tracking early, you want to get on them. I'm lucky I can sit back on this game. I think we'll get the bull out of the way during the week. Friday night looks like Richmond might get me, and then I'll look to wake up Saturday and maybe take better than even money on St Kilda.
I'd probably lean the Saints way for sure. Saturday night, we've got Melbourne Demons play Sydney Swans. We've got the D's $1.23, 4.10 the Swans, and the line 26.5 there. The D's look to be jogging. They beat the Kangas in second gear, but I think the live in play flux that I saw with Top Sport were, I think it was like $1.01 they jumped the D's, and they got out to $1.52 or $1.53 for about 60 seconds, and I was about to pull the trigger on the D's, but can't bet online, which is another bugbear, and just absolutely crazy that you can't bet in run in 2021. But the price disappeared very, very quickly with the D's. But what are your thoughts on this Saturday night clash? Sydney off the win against Geelong. Have they turned the corner again, the Swans? Have they had the little let up, or you don't buy into it?
I think the line looks a tad big to me. Just taking a line through, what Melbourne did against North Melbourne. Maybe they just completely switched off and frightened themselves in the second half. So maybe their attitude might be a bit better at home coming up against Sydney, who, as you said, a big win off Geelong. They might have a little let down off that. But by the same token, I think Sydney are a more competitive side, and I don't think this will be an overly high-scoring game. So the plus 28 at the moment looks healthy, and if I was having a play, which I don't think I will bet in this game, we'll find these teams a bit hard to catch, even though Melbourne are undefeated, but just in terms of talking the line, if I was going to have a play, I'd lean to Sydney at the plus 28 at the moment, because there is some weather around as well.
28.5 into 26.5 there, the Swans. Sunday afternoon, we've got a very interesting match over in Perth, and it's Fremantle versus Brisbane. Not sure how they're going to go with the crowds or the state of things in Perth at the moment. It's phenomenal to think that there's 3 cases of COVID and there was no crowd at the derby.
Yeah, it was eerie. Mind-blowing again, yeah, because normally, packed house over there is always good viewing on television as well. So it was a bit strange, and they missed out on a cracking game too. It was really high level. Fremantle and West Coast. Maybe the pressure wasn't as high, but geez, the goal kicking was good, and some of the plays were outstanding on both sides. I know West Coast ran away with it, but Freo went okay, I thought. But geez, when you line them up, Brisbane absolutely crushed Port, won by about 50, and then Freo lose by 10 goals. So coming in just to this week on last week's form, they're a mile apart. I really do like Brisbane in this game. I think they look on the cheap side at -10. There's been no market move in this game. So, I think the price might hold up in this game by saying that. Freo at home, they were 3-0 at home before playing West Coast, and obviously both at home. So, they're undefeated outside of West Coast at home. So I've got a feeling that the market will hold up and may even just shade Freo in the betting here.
Interesting one here, yeah. So odds courtesy of Top Sport on the screen now. We've got Brisbane lines 154, Dockers 245, and the line's just gone 10.5 into 9.5 there. Mate, it's a bit strange for me.
I like Brisbane, and when you go do the form, I come up with a number favouring their side. But there are factors against, as I said, the home ground advantage. And the travel, it's a tough road trip, either when you go from Brisbane to Perth or vice versa. Those teams generally don't travel well. But by saying that, Brisbane have actually got a pretty good record against Fremantle over in Perth. They have won recently. So, at this stage, I lean towards Brisbane. I think they're one of the better bets for the week.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'll be chips in on Brisbane, and just sort of like the fact that it's late in the week as well.
Hopefully you got plenty of chips after this week.
I would have thought we'll be right. It's been it's a good couple of weeks lately, and I think I said last week that I wasn't that keen to play much of the AFL, and just chips in on the Cats, similar to you. But Port, I guess, let me down significantly. But this does look like a much, much better betting week. And I'd be very surprised, MG, if you can't salvage a good result there. Make sure you check out AFL Stings in the Little Birdie shop if you want Mark's full analysis. I think he drops about 5 or 6 pages of gold there. So this round 8, make sure you check out the AFL Stings. Mark will produce the document before he goes to the Bull, and he'll do it absolutely sober as a judge. So no worries about that. Let's have a look at buy, hold, and sell. This is where we have a look at the futures markets. We'll talk AFL Premiership first. Richmond Tigers have cemented their position on top there, 460. I've written them off for the season. So lo and behold, here they come after half-time and destroy Western Bulldogs. 460 the Tigers, Melbourne 550, Port Adelaide 550, $6 Western Bulldogs, $9 the Cats, $9.50 the Lions. Nice little trim up there, in from 13. West Coast Eagles $10, Sydney Swans 21, 31 the Giants, and write your own ticket. The rest pretty much. Gee, you could throw a blanket over this field, and the bookies are just saying to me that it's anyone's.
Yeah, I don't think it's almost like hardly anything's changed from the start of the year, almost, with some of these prices kind of bouncing back. And the weekend just gone, there was a few that straightened up, and Richmond getting back in the game as well. A big difference if they lose 2 in a row, but then they split out on the 2 tough games, and obviously what they do to Geelong this week. So I don't think the Richmond backers are going anywhere. They're pretty happy. They'll go in favourites against Geelong this week, and if they get over that little tough stretch, 2-1. Their draw opens up a bit, but not much has changed. I don't think. The top 7 sides are all in there. I think still with looking for soft draws. West Coast have got a nice little period coming up for them if you like them. Brisbane seem to have got over their hurdle as well. So it's play as you want in the Premiership at the moment. Yeah,
the Western Bulldogs are still the team that I've got the early ticket on, and I just don't think they're any value at the current stage. But let's have a look at the Brownlow medal market. Christian Petrarca, Mark was on him at $19, and now he's the favourite here, $5.50. Dustin Martin, $6.50. The Bont, $7.50. Boak, $13. Sam Walsh, $14. Ollie Wines, $15. Max Gawn, $16. Jackie Steele, $18. And then you've got Nat Fyfe, $18. And then Tim Kelly, $21. Interesting, Tim Kelly, no marks from yesterday's match. Phenomenal for 42 possessions.
Yeah, creating a new record. 42 touches without a mark. That's pretty hard to do, I would assume. Well, it's creating history. I think he knocked off Gary Ablett, the tweet we saw. So that was a bit of information there. Yeah, the Brownlow was actually a pretty quiet week. There wasn't too many of the high profile, say in the top 10 or 15 of the betting, the pile probably outside of T. Kelly. So not much has really changed from the week before. Obviously with the Bulldogs losing, and Melbourne's 2 were, Petrarca didn't have a great game. Not too much has changed. So it's a bit play on this week in the Brownlow.
Similar story for the Coleman medal. The odds courtesy of topsport.com.au on your screen now. You've got Harry Mackay, $3.80. You've got Tex Walker, $3.80. Jack Rewalt, $5.50. Tommy Lynch, $9. Josh J. Kennedy, $10. Charlie Dixon, $11. Darling, $15. Toby Green, $16. Tomahawk, similar quote, $15. And then Aaron Norton, $21. Charlie Cameron, Eric Hipwood, and Jeremy Cameron. Joe Danaher, all on that same quote. No fat there, MG?
Yeah, no, it's pretty quiet week actually at the top for the Coleman. It just looks like being a great race this year. Not one we get involved in too early, but as the year goes on, we might. And all of a sudden, Walker's lead's only 1. So
you'd be like, just put the 2 favourites in, play bookie, just lay them.
Oh, I think so. I think the bookies would be pretty happy to lay the top 2 in the betting, just see when the big boys start to get going in the next couple of weeks. I assume. But yeah, if you like one, you got plenty of value out there. If you look down the list,
Harry Mackay kicked a goal from directly in front. Drop punt. Had a little bit of a crooked steer on it. Tried to fall out, but I was buoyed to see that.
He won't be doing it too often this year. He's a snapologist. We've called him now. He loves the snap. Hey, it's working for him. He's kicked 26 goals, I think. I believe he's nearly at his best already. So through 7 rounds, I think he's nearly his career best for goals. So he's up and about. Harry Mackay.
If you want to have a bet on the futures or any of the round 8 action, make sure you bet with a bookmaker you can trust. Topsport.com.au. They've been in the game for 35 years. Give Tristan and his team a call, and even betting in play in the run. You can get some fantastic prices in play. The game and the odds just chop and change, so make sure you're betting smart. Don't dive into the obvious, and just wait for the game to turn on its head. I got egg on my face from Friday night's game, and I coughed up a pretty penny, but I'll be back into it this week and can't wait for round 8 after we get through the bull. Up next, we'll talk Hall of Fame and NRL with Top Rope Tedeschi. Welcome back to Little Birdie Podcast. I'm your host, Scoot. This is a unique look into the world of sports betting from the eyes of professionals. Got MG licking his wounds, and it's time to talk to our favourite, Top Rope Tedeschi, to talk Rugby League and Hall of Fame. Welcome back, Top Rope.
Good to be here, boys. We're on a quick backup here. Monday. Here we are.
How good. It's the bull, and I tell you what, quickly, firstly, a little bit of a hat tip to you. Broncos off the stick. Wow.
A little something for the battlers out there. It's, I'll tell you what, I wasn't feeling that crash hot up at 22-0 down for about 15 minutes. I was ready to call it a night, but no, they came back well. One of those games that it was, look, I didn't love the Broncos, but I sure as hell wasn't taking the Titans at that price. It was just a price play there. So it was a good week overall. Good week for the subscribers. Good week for the listeners. So up and about.
You going to say something there, mate?
Yeah, Top Rope goes something for the battlers. How many battlers does Top Rope know?
Oh,
shit.
I'm in some very low circles. Some very low circles.
He's in the corporate suite the week before next to PVL, his love child, and now all of a sudden he's hanging out with the battlers? I don't think so.
Absolutely jogging our man Top Rope, and doesn't mind getting wide. I had a little chat to him yesterday, and he was crying about a sick beat in the ladies' golf. He bets every day, and if it doesn't end in Y, he's not betting. But 4.2 unit profit last week, and he's just chugging over at 10% profit for the year. So make sure you check out his sets, GGOA. If you're new to rugby league betting, he is the perfect man to steer you that way. Now, Hall of Fame time this week, and there's been, it's been huge, really. Melbourne Storm, we inducted into the Hall of Fame last week, and they're just becoming auto-bet territory with or without Pappenhausen. They are a get-on every week. And something else caught my eye. Mattress Mac popped up at the Kentucky Derby. Viewers of the show, regulars would know, the Top Rope inducted him about 6 to 8 weeks ago. That's how far ahead of the game we are. But I think he backed Essential Quality, so he's done 2.4 milli cold, your man Mattress. Top Rope.
Yeah, no, I was happy with that. I found the winner of the Kentucky Derby, so I was more than happy for Mattress Mac to go down there. So, what else are you doing
a Sunday morning
on the golf course at 9 in the morning and having a little throw?
Oh, too good.
I had a man over there. Shout out to my man Charlie Cox over there. He was with the connections of the winning stable throughout the tip, and God bless you, champ. It was a win for the ages.
Bob Baffitt's probably a worthy contender. He just seems to produce the results day in, day out. And maybe a little... We've had Rick McIntosh, I think, in the Little Birdie Hall of Fame in the past. But what about...
This time last year, I think we dedicated him at Bull Week last year.
I reckon maybe the bull itself, or maybe I reckon the side punting games that we play. I remember being at Betfair function a couple of years ago with some notorious gamblers, and I think it was about 11 o'clock at night, and that's probably 12 hours into the drink for the day, and we were chucking down 20s and 50s, and it was 2 coins up against the wall. How's those good games down at the bull? It's a free-for-all, isn't it, MG?
Yeah, we were talking about how much the crowd loves the 2-up after the last on Thursday. We're not sure the gentleman that brings the 2-up coins down or even how it starts, but you can guarantee every year after the last race, all of a sudden 5 or 10 people turns into a couple of hundred people before the authorities shut it down. But we get a good 45 minutes to an hour of 2-up, and the atmosphere's electric. I love it. So kudos to the bloke who brings the 2-up.
You a heads man or a tails man there, MG?
I go against the crowd, so I like to punt out find the punter who's just dropped his head, maybe has lost 2 or 3 in a row and looking to dig out, and just give him a nudge. And it's a bit like the roulette table, Top Rope. You see a load of blacks or reds on the board, and you always
go the other way.
Yeah, people go up and you try to explain it's still around about 50-50. So if there's a couple of heads in a row and the guy keeps going, I just nudge him to tip his hand in double or nothing. You're due.
All right, so maybe that's a good nomination for this week. The Bulls little side bets. There's so many side markets up and going. People are just betting on anything. Right up your alley, Top Rope.
Yeah. Oh, look, I love it. I think we're going to pop this nomination. I was going to nominate the Great Banner Strand in honour of the Bull. The only horse to jump one more fence in the Grand Annual, get out into the crowd and jump a few more. So one of the great comeback stories of all time as well. Just a horse who just wants to jump. And that's what the Bull is all about. But you know what? Anything. Betting on coins against the wall, Michael Jordan style, betting on 2 up on a day that's not Anzac Day. Good enough for me, punters. The Bull side alley. Let's get it on.
Oh, fantastic stuff. We're going to take a short little break and we're going to preview all of round 9 NRL markets. Make sure if you've got the main action at the Bull in your sites, open up an account with topsport.com.au and support them. They are Australia's biggest betting bookie. And the best thing is they don't turn you off. They're not like other corporates. They love to have a bet. And so make sure you have a swing with topsport.com.au. Up next, NRL Chat. Welcome back to Little Birdie Podcast, a unique look into the world of sports betting by professionals. I'm your host, Scoot. We've got MG and it's Top Rope Tedeschi time. We're going to have a look at round 9 action. I tell you what, South Sydney Rabbitohs and Storm, Thursday night footy at Stadium Australia. Odds courtesy of topsport.com.au on the screen now. It's $1.44, the Storm away favourites, $2.75 the Boonwahs, and the line at 6.5. Take us away, Top Rope.
I reckon I think we've already got Adam Reynolds in the Hall of Fame, but he almost made it again last week for those 13-plus punters, kicking a penalty after the siren to get the Bunnies home last week to get the 13-plus home, God bless him. But hard game, the cracking game at South have been absolutely cast by injuries. Adam Reynolds out 6 weeks. Cameron Murray out potentially for the year. They've already got Latrell suspended. There's a host of concerns. So, your man MG, the Pap, I think he's back this week. Teams to be named tomorrow, but I think he's a good chance of returning. The minus 6.5 has to be a bet here. The Souths have beaten Melbourne 5 times in history, going back to 1998. So the Storm have dominated this matchup. They just get winning, and they get winning by big margins. Storm have covered 4 straight against Souths, but they've scored 40+ in 4 of their last 5 games this year. So I've got to be on the Storm, especially with Pap on the return.
Hall of Fame. We say it every week. It's an auto bet. I'm not sure why we preview their match, MG.
There might be a crush on Thursday night. Imagine all the winners from the Bull 3 days in a row, and then they look up Thursday night when they get in the
Pappenhausen!
They get into the pub at the Kelly or something.
Pappenhausen anytime!
The next match to rolls the Storm minus 6.5 with Top Rope declaring them. Jeez. This line will end up 10.
It's just what the punters want. It's what the punters want. It's what the punters need.
I tell you what, he didn't win a car, courtesy of the Cats last week, but I tell you what, MG might be chips in here on the Storm. And looking at Friday night's footy, there's already a market on the move here at Top Sport. Penrith Stadium, we've got the Penrith Panthers versus Cronulla. Panthers, $1.10 actually, $7 the Sharks, and the line's just gone 18.5 into 17.5. Top Rope.
Lean the minus here. Big minuses have been generally money all year. Penrith at home, money they've covered 22 of 33 at Penrith Stadium. 9 of 12 as a double-digit favourite. Didn't get the cover against AMG's bridesmaid, Tommy Turbo, last week. He came good. I know he did well for you there, Scooty, but the Sharks have covered 1 of 5 as a double-digit dog. They were blown off the park pretty easily that second half against Storm last week. I just think the Panthers have too much firepower. It's a big line. Leaning the minus.
Interesting play there. Looks very, very big, and the early money there, as I said, for Cronulla at the plus. But Top Rope has made an absolute fortune on these big minuses, so make sure you Listen carefully. Now, Friday night, the other match there, interesting here out at Bankwest Stadium, odds courtesy of Top Sport. We've got Parramatta Eels, $1.56. We've got the Roosters, the Chooks, $2.40, and the line is a flat 4. Wow, you don't often see the Roosters with the flat 4 there, Top Rope.
You don't often see the Roosters with this many players out hurt. It's Brett Morris did his ACL. Probably that's his career done and dusted, the 4th greatest try scorer in history. Lindsay Collins, the Queensland prop, he's out for the year now. TBC, who's returning, hopefully James Tedeschi is back for the Chooks. But, this line is probably close to the other way with the Roosters anywhere near full strength. But the injuries just get worse. But, the good news is his kid, young Sam Walker, has been absolutely outstanding in only his 5th game of first grade last week. With Anthony Seibold, the Broncos coach, who told him he was only going to be a fullback, the reason he left for the Roosters, had set up 5 try assists against the Newcastle Knights, of which Anthony Seibold is an assistant coach. So, not a shout out to the great Anthony Seibold, possibly the biggest goose in rugby league history. But we're back to more pressing matters. The current game.
Just couldn't help yourself.
There's a whack.
I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself. Well, just a Monday afternoon whack. I've got to be with the Chooks here. I do think this is still a bit oversaturated. I think we're going to see young Joseph Suwali. Is a good chance of making his debut this week. If Teddy's back, I think the +4 is a good play. The Eels have covered us 2 of 7 against Bankwest. 5 of 15 when favoured. They've made a habit of beating up on bad sides. I want to see them prove themselves against a really good team this year. I know they beat the Storm earlier, but things were just getting rolling. But I think the Roosters +4 is a bet in this one.
Interesting stuff. Now, the Get Out Stakes on Sunday afternoon is at Jubilee Stadium. We've got the St George Dragons, $1.28 over the Canterbury Bulldogs. Top Ropes team, $3.65. And the line there is 10.5, Top Rope.
Yeah, so the Bulldogs have failed to cover 8 straight of a loss of 13+. They've failed to cover 7 straight day games. They've failed to cover 5 or 6 getting double digits. And I'm declaring them as the bet of the week, the Bulldogs, plus 10.5. We got the money on Sunday with the Tigers, which is pretty much the same bet. It was not a bet on the Tigers. This was a bet against the Dragons as a big favourite. Double-digit favourites off a loss, covered as 43% since 2016. The Dragons aren't very good, though. The pre-season wouldn't spoon favourites. They've covered as 6 of 18 when favoured by 6.5 points. I've got to take the double-digit start in this one. I think it's just a very good bet. I can't see this line starting any more than 8, so I'll be jumping on the Dogs on this one.
Definitely looks big, especially off the back of last weekend's results. Now, something we're making an absolute meal of is Lock of the Week. I tell you what, that said, Top Rope Tedeschi, he was probably the knight in shining armour. He had the Broncos at the plus, into West Tigers at the plus. He's turned his $200 into $722, and we're doing this to try and get to $5,000 for raise.org.au, but it is tough going. I think I had $1,000 in the kick, and I did a little multi-storm head-to-head into Port Adelaide Power, and the lights were out very, very early. They didn't show up for charity, and I am absolutely filthy on that. I was sort of toing and froing. Is it the Cats? Is it Geelong? Is it the Port Power? It didn't matter in the end. I've done the 1,000 cold, so I'm back to square one. MG thinks it's funny.
No, I don't think it's funny. I want to see someone get to the 5,000. I'm happy Top Rope's, what are we, seventh of the way there, Top Rope. So, no, it's good. We'll get there. Someone will get there. It's all right. You don't want to get there too early because then what are we going to do for Lock of the Week? The 5,000 is already achieved. So, unless you show a bit of patience.
I also think the kids are earning a valuable life lesson that you don't always get what you want. You don't always get it straight away. So we're not giving them dollars, but we're teaching them a few very valuable life lessons right now.
Raise.org.au, they find mentors for kids in their teenage formative years. And MG, he had his 200 on West Coast at the minus last week. They jumped Pickham, so it didn't matter anyway. West Coast absolutely jog-trotted in. So Top Rope's got $722, MG's got $380, and I'm back to $200. Take us away, Top Rope. Who have you got this week for Lock of the Week?
We're bookending this week. We're going to open with the Melbourne Storm off the stick, and we're going to go into the Bulldogs plus 10.5, 273. Get it on there. We'll get ourselves to just around the too large mark, and then we're going to go home next week. If we get to this too large, we're going to that 5 next week.
It's going to be a big week. I'm cheering hard. Well, I don't have to cheer the Storm. They're a given, aren't they?
MG.
What am I going to do? This week I'm going to have GWS, both head-to-head. GWS at, I think they're about $1.45, and I'm going to tip St Kilda at the Pick'em against Gold Coast. So I think I'm around the 7-4, 275 for the 380.
MG, all right. I'm going to go cross code. That's my only edge in this competition. Surprise, surprise. Guess who's good he's going to pick? He's going to forgive his Port Adelaide power against Adelaide. The Western Bulldogs will touch up Carlton on the rebound. Brisbane Lions will be too good for Fremantle. And hate to say it, the Melbourne Storm will be too strong for the Bunnies. Rendiggity out, Scooty out. Definitely the Melbourne Storm there. So it's 356 times 200. I don't muck around with my lock of the week. I just try and blast back into contention. And that will be the job done. So
get around us this week.
This week for the lock of the week.
Us.
I feel much better about this week rather than last week, even though I declared Port Adelaide.
Yeah, that's okay. You had your bad one. You realise this competition's not as easy as it looks now, Scoot. We didn't want you going straight to a line, so now he'll knuckle down and get on his way.
Short, sharp.
The good thing about Monday is we can't get in our heads. We can't get in our heads this week. We're just straight into it. We've just declared a few. We haven't seen anything resembling a team list. We don't know what's going on, but there were just good things everywhere early in the week.
Smart man said to me one day that your first bet of the week is probably your smartest. So if the fields come out on Wednesday or Thursday for the Gallops, whatever your first thought is and your first bet, that should be your biggest. And it's probably the same for AFL and NRL. You find what the bookie's mistake is first, and then you just plough into that. So hopefully we can get lock of the week going for raise.org.au. Top rope Tedeschi, enjoy your time. Probably watching the stream this week, won't you, big fella, for 3 days at the Bull?
Oh, every day. I'm Bull, stream. I'm all about the Bull this week.
We're all full steam ahead into the Bull. MG will be at the Cali. Make sure if you're not doing anything, try and squeeze your way into the Wednesday up night function. I think it opens up at 5:30 and it'll go until the bar tab runs dry. A substantial bar tab. I think it'll be pretty hard to drink it. So even if you can't get in early, make sure you call in after dinner. The boys will be drinking beers in the back marquee at the Cali. It's in Fairy Street. And hopefully the fairies are good for us on the live stream. But good luck over the Warrnambool Carnival, MG, on your liver and on the back pocket.
Yeah, hopefully we're straight onto the goose Wednesday night. It'll be good, actually. If we can, we've had a couple of good Tuesdays. Not obviously last year was out, but the couple of years before, the Tuesdays have been our best days. So very good to get off to a good start. Order extra bottles of goose into the clubs afterwards and the pubs. But no, I mean the weather looks a bit dicey tomorrow on the Tuesday. It's probably a gumboot day. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome 3 days. Yeah, hopefully the health survives. The liver's not too drained, but it's good. Be looking forward to seeing everyone down there. It'd be great. Fantastic stuff. Make sure if you see Mark at the Bull, you say good day, and make sure you have a drink with him at the Cali on Wednesday. It is Chips in Melbourne Storm this Thursday night for everyone, and if you want AFL stings, make sure you check out the Little Birdie shop. Watch the stream on Little Birdie TV on YouTube, or make sure you get around Apple or Spotify to pick up all our podcasts. We've got 3 shows going at the moment. We've got the Little Birdie podcast, we've got Bet Doctor, and we've got our new show, Briz Vegas. So check out all the action. We are the Punters Pals, and so are our major sponsors, Top Sport and Punting Form. We'll see you in the Bull.